our studio and we'll be talking to them. But before that, I must tell you that if you want to participate in program, please call us after 20 minutes. Telephone number is shown on our screen, and you can also participate by sending us an email, and the email address will be shown on the screen. Now, let us introduce you to our guest today. First of all, Hannah David. Yeah, she is standing in from Harrow East?
Harrow West.
Harrow West. And our second guest today is Meera Sonecha, all the way from Leicester East.
Leicester South.
Leicester South, I beg your pardon. Hannah and Meera, it is always very difficult when you have two beautiful ladies. So, who to talk first? But anyway, we welcome you both in the studio, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation and making your way here in all the traffic and hot weather. Before we go to the main menu or start talking about the policies and why do you think that Theresa May will have bigger majority, what she thinks when she announced the snap election. And I wanted to ask you about yourself. Tell us something about you and why you chose to join politics, and you have been in politics for almost 20 years now.
Yes, yes, I am that old.
No, it's not about. I think it's about the passion, isn't it?
It is about the passion. So I first became a councillor in 2000, and I fought my first election in 2003.
Right.
Won my first election in 2004, and was a local councillor for 9 years. During which time I also became the leader of a town council.
Right.
And my passion for politics grew through that, from starting at the bottom,
Right.
working my way up through the council, becoming a cabinet member for the council, becoming a leader of a town council, and then I applied to stand for the party nationally,
Right.
and was first selected in Harrow West in 2012, and reselected, as we know, a few weeks ago.
Right.
So now I'm here to finish the job that I started.
Okay. If I read my notes correctly, you actually graduated or qualified as a solicitor in 1995.
Yes.
So apart from politics, you're also very active in different things. You have got your own business, and you're a pioneer of something very interesting. You founded Planning Futures, a new think tank dedicated to nurturing a new conversation about town and country planning. Does it give you an edge over the other people when you have got additional qualification and something?
Well, I believe that all experience is useful if you use it.
Right.
So I was a property lawyer for many years.
Yeah.
I have a real focus and interest in providing housing, affordable housing,
Right.
and making sure that we plan towns and places that people want to live in.
Right.
And that is something that I enjoy doing.
Right.
And I also believe that if you enjoy doing something, you do it well.
Right.
So that's certainly something that I can offer, my experience in those areas.
Right. Now, in your constituency, we have these people, Rathi Alagratnam, UKIP, Rowan Langley from Green Party, Christopher Noyes from Liberal Democrats, and Gareth Thomas on Labour seat. In last election, you almost defeated Gareth. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. We reduced the majority to 2,208.
Yeah. Do you think you should be worried?
Do I think Gareth should be
Yeah.
worried? Oh, certainly. We're working
should
very,
be.
very hard, and our feedback on the doors is very
I
good.
will talk more about your constituency and people who you are actually fighting against. Meera, tell us something about you. You joined the politics, you're very young. What did you do before you came into politics?
So, talking a bit about Leicester South, where I'm standing. So I was born and bred in Leicester. My family has a business there. So I've always loved Leicester. And it's such an interesting place because you're there from there as well. And then after university, I stood for council, just like Hannah did. But when I was unsuccessful, I joined an MP's office in the House of Commons, Sir Edward Garnier's office, where I worked for nearly 5 years before taking my current position as the Executive Officer of Conservative Friends of India. And just recently I was seconded for 6 months onto the Andy Street campaign, which was the West Midlands mayoral election, which we won against all odds, which was a fantastic experience. And when the general election was called, I thought it would just be so wonderful to go back to Leicester and represent the people that I know and have spent my whole life with.
At what age did you join politics?
At 17.
At 17, that's a very young age.
Yeah.
And you always wanted to get into politics, or it was just something happened, something clicked?
So I studied philosophy, politics and economics at university, and then I actually wanted to become an accountant, but I got offered this job at the House of Commons and I took it, and I just found it such an interesting world. I feel like politics is a place where you can make a real difference, where MPs make a real difference to people's lives every day, even when they're not passing legislation. And it's such a wonderful feeling when you're working for an MP to make a difference to people's lives, which is why I think more people, young people, should get involved in politics, because it's a real driver for change.
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting. We talk about, and everybody talks about getting young people, young Asians as well, into politics, and you're one of them. Other day I met with Amit.
Yeah.
Amit
Jogia.
Jogia, yes. He was also very young, and he's looking forward for this election. Tell me, like many other people, did the announcement took you by surprise?
About the election?
Yes.
Yes, I was about to get on a plane when the announcement happened. Okay. Absolutely.
Right.
As far as I know, everyone I've spoken to was surprised.
Right. So what did you do? I mean, what was your first reaction?
Shock. And I actually had to sit on a plane for 5 hours and think about my reaction. So when I got off the plane and my phone was vibrating from people phoning me saying, what's going to happen, what are you going to do? I actually didn't have to think about it very long. I knew that if I could, I wanted to go back to Harrow West. Right. And as I said at the beginning, finish the job that I started.
Okay. How far are you away from England when you went on the plane?
I was 5 hours away.
On holiday or something?
Yes, I was away over Easter.
Ah, okay. And you cancelled everything, or you just...
No, I was actually coming back that day.
Ah, okay.
So actually, the timing worked out quite well.
Ah, right, okay. So you didn't have to cancel your holiday?
No, I didn't.
Okay. What about you, Mira?
Yeah, I think it took everybody as a surprise. I don't think anybody knew. But I think it's a good thing in that Theresa May can, now if she becomes Prime Minister next week, will have a proper mandate to carry forward Brexit. So I think, although it was unexpected, I think it was...
I mean, in your case, it is the first time ever
you're
fighting for an MP.
Yeah.
In your case, you have been there, done that, and you almost won last time, yeah? Not big margin. So did you think like, yes, now this is my chance? Was it like that, or was it,
No, it was, I can do it this time.
Yeah.
I obviously worked with the communities in Harrow West since 2012, and I knew that they knew me, because I knew them. Okay. So I knew that going back there, it really was a case of just doing this now and finishing it. It's really exciting. It's still really exciting. And that is how I feel.
Now, something very common for both of you, and that is, both of you are actually, the areas where you are actually contesting are Asian-dominated areas, right? For Mira, is relatively easy because she is from the Asian background, so to understand. But how about you? Because, to understand Asian, not just languages, but there is in your area, in fact, it's more of a mixture, not just people from India, but from Sri Lanka, from God knows how many countries, are there. So what exactly do you do to know their mentality and to understand what do you do?
That's a really interesting question. I from day one in Harrow West, I was welcome into the communities. From where I was when I was a councillor, I already had a very good relationship with communities in my area, in particular with Back to Devante Manor in Letchmore Heath,
Yeah.
which is in my constituency.
Okay.
And so I knew that community extremely well. When I came to Harrow West, I was welcomed with open arms by all the communities, invited to festivals, to celebrations, to parties, to interfaith events. So I never found it a problem, I never found it difficult. I found that the communities wanted to engage with me as I wanted to engage with them, and that is definitely still the case.
Okay. Did you have to understand the language? Did you have to understand the religious ideas of this community? Because some of the communities are very, very strong when the religion is concerned. And the politics, because everywhere right now there are political movements, political
Of course.
happening. So do you have to keep in?
Well, with everyone I meet, with every group or community, I make sure that I know something about the group and the community, because I'm genuinely interested anyway. But I feel that it's the right thing to do. If I was going to talk to a business, I'd look up and learn about the business that I was going to talk to.
Right.
So I would do that anyway. And absolutely, you don't start off knowing everything.
Yeah.
You learn as you go along, and you should learn as you go along, absolutely. So I see part of my role as a candidate, and definitely as an MP, is actually listening to people, listening to communities, which I hope I've always done. I certainly try to do.
Right.
And so I have built up my knowledge from doing that and from engaging with communities.
Right. Meera, tell us something about the other people who are actually contesting in your area.
Oh, so the incumbent MP is John Ashworth.
Yeah.
He won in a by-election in 2009.
Okay.
But he's now Labour's shadow health secretary.
Right.
So he's quite a senior figure in the party.
Right. And you have Max Lewis.
Yeah, she's a
from
Green
So
Party.
you don't have too many people to worry about.
No, I don't. There's only 4 of us,
Okay.
which is unusual.
Okay.
And
And Harish Bishwanath Singh.
Yes, another Indian origin candidate for the Liberal Democrats.
Okay. So, who was the last?
So last
candidate
time obviously John Ashworth won again,
Okay.
but because I think last time the problem for the Conservative Party was a strong UKIP vote,
Yeah.
and this time there's not a UKIP candidate.
Right.
So I think that
you
because
think-
the political mood has changed a little bit, I think that
Yeah.
would work to the Conservative Party's advantage in this one.
Right.
But
How much do you know about your opponents?
how
Yes.
much do I know?
Yeah. How much do you know about your opponents? Because it's really important.
Yeah.
In war, in election.
Yeah. I mean,
in business.
I mean, the biggest opponent obviously is John Ashworth. He's
Okay.
a very established politician in
Right.
Leicester.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was the winner last time.
Yes.
Okay. And what about Max Lewis?
I don't honestly know that much about Mags or Harish. I haven't really seen them around.
Okay.
I don't think they've been as active as John has. So John Ashworth is the main opponent.
Okay, so you are basically against the Liberal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like other seats where there's a Liberal Democrat element.
Yeah.
Is not in this seat really.
Mainly you are preparing yourself against
Labour, that's
Labour.
right.
Obviously, you are doing the same thing.
Yes.
Gareth Thomas. Tell me about your opponents a little bit.
So Gareth Thomas, who is from the Cooperative Labour Party, obviously we fought against each other for quite in election terms for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So
This is the 4th time?
sorry,
Is this 4th time?
for Gareth.
Yeah.
No. This is the second time I fought
Second.
against Gareth, but
Right.
Gareth has been the MP there for 20 years.
Right.
Chris Noyce, local councillor, Lib Dem candidate. That's him.
Okay.
The UKIP candidate is a new candidate for UKIP, not the candidate that stood last time,
Right.
and the Green candidate who I've never met.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, basically your main worry is...
yes, this is a Conservative against Labour.
Right. Okay.
Although we can't take anything for granted in politics, I have to insert that.
Now, when the election was announced, right, and the main focal point was Brexit, according to Theresa May, she wants absolute majority, so she can go and do things rather than every time something happens, she has to come back and ask and then, waste time in this, that. But it seems that is changing. People are talking about lots of other things. And the focus has actually moved from Brexit to lots of other issues. What do you think about it?
I can talk from my experience on the door. Obviously, I see the media that you see and everyone sees, but from my experience on the door, 99 out of 100 times, people want to talk about Brexit and what's going to happen and what do we think of the referendum and the economy and are we going to be okay?
Right.
And I'm still seeing that, even after the release of the manifestos. It's the same discussions I'm having on the doorstep that I've had, because people know that whatever happens in these negotiations affects them, but also everything else that moves forward.
Yeah.
So I think it's the uncertainty that does play on people's minds is at the forefront, and I'm still seeing it.
I mean, did you support the Brexit?
I voted for Remain in the referendum.
Yeah, to stay in, so against the Brexit.
I voted for Remain. No, it wasn't against Brexit, it was for Remain.
Okay.
But I now support Theresa May, and I believe that she will negotiate the best deal. And I'm proud to say it and be in her team saying that.
What about you? Did you vote against or to Remain?
I voted Remain as well.
Okay.
But I do believe that the majority of British public voted to leave, so we need to respect the wishes of the public and find the best way forward.
Yeah, it's very interesting that both of you actually wanted to remain. However, we'll talk more about it and many other things, but after a small break. So don't go away.
At Leica Mobile, we do things your way. Buy a new SIM with our UK Plan Ultra online and enjoy 15 gigabytes of ultra-fast 4G data and unlimited UK minutes and texts. All of this for the low price of just £12 for 30 days. This 50% off contract-free offer is available on our 4G LTE UK network. Don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity. Visit leicamobile.co.uk today. Terms and conditions apply. Your data, your way. Leica Mobile.
Pure Heaven. Non-alcoholic celebration drinks. All the fun without the alcohol. Pure Heaven. Make every moment a sparkling moment.
Now available at selected Tesco stores and Amazon.
हिस्टन हाइड वेस्ट लंदन के सबसे शानदार होटल्स में से एक with 303 air conditioned rooms and suites, one of the largest banquet spaces in London, meeting room for up to 1200 people, conferences, musical function, weddings या कोई भी गैदरिंग, मनपसंद भोजन, शानदार आयोजन और बेहतरीन वेन्यू, 400 गाड़ियों की पार्किंग के साथ Histon Hyde. For bookings, call 0208 572 1818.
Hard to believe that was me. I had such a happy childhood. Pity my dad isn't around now. But he had made sure that Mum had enough to look after us. Now I've got a family of my own, it's my job to protect their future. You know, just in case.
Hello, welcome to Smart Life Insurance. You're speaking to Kate. How can I help?
Hi, I'm interested in arranging some life insurance cover, please.
OK, as long as you're a UK resident, aged 18 to 64, you can apply for a benefit amount up to £750,000.
Right, what do I need to do?
Well, there's no medical or blood test, just a few health and lifestyle questions. For a quick quote, all I need to know is your age and if you smoke.
OK, I'm 32 and I've never smoked.
Right. Well then, £100,000 of life insurance cover could start at just $674 a month in the first year.
Well, that will make the world of difference.
And we understand circumstances can change, so our flexible policies can too. You can apply to make these changes at any time. And with Smart Cashback, you'll get 10% of your first year's premiums back after 12 months.
Great, I'll go ahead.
Nice hat, Dad.
So make sure your family is protected. Call Smart Insurance now on 0800 093 5271 or go to smartinsurance.co.uk.
स्कूल जाना तो एक सपना था, रोज देखता उस खाने वाली गाड़ी को, सबको बढ़िया खाना, खुशी होती थी देखकर। फिर वो दिन आया जब मैं भी गया स्कूल, लगा कि सपने देखने की ताकत मिल गई हो। अरे पेट भरा हो तो पूरा ध्यान पढ़ाई में रहेगा ना। प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि वो खाने वाली गाड़ी हमेशा स्कूल आती रहे। थैंक यू अक्षय पात्र।
आइए हाथ बटाइए ताकि भारत में 16 लाख से भी ज्यादा बच्चों को स्कूल में पौष्टिक खाना मिलता रहे।
हेस्टन हाइड वेस्ट लंदन के सबसे शानदार होटल्स में से एक, with 303 air conditioned rooms and suites, one of the largest banquet spaces in London, meeting room for up to 1200 people, conferences, musical function, weddings या कोई भी गैदरिंग, मनपसंद भोजन, शानदार आयोजन और बेहतरीन वेन्यू, 400 गाड़ियों की पार्किंग के साथ। Heston Hyde. For bookings, call 0208 572 1818.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajneeti on MATV with Ram, but we have two lovely ladies who could be your future MPs in Parliament, representing you, talking to you, but we are talking today now. We were talking about the support and opposition to Brexit, yeah. But since we have triggered Article 50, you cannot go back. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, a democratic decision's been made.
Yeah.
I value our democracy and therefore respect the decision. And absolutely, now we have to have the right persons to negotiate the best deal.
So you have to go forward only.
Absolutely, we should always go forward.
There's
in
no
life.
way you can go back.
No.
Absolutely sure.
Yes.
What about you, Mira?
No, yeah, that's right. But now we've triggered Article 50. Parliament's voted on it.
Yeah.
People have voted. We can't turn
So
back
no going
now.
back.
No.
In a family, what happens is, when a parent, a mother or father takes a wrong decision, or an uncle who is leading figure of the family, first you get angry. Obviously, you do support eventually because of the family values. Did you get angry?
No, I wasn't angry. I suppose that we'd had a lot of polling, which is my lesson on polling, and so therefore I think I was surprised is the right reaction.
Yeah.
But it was what it was. I accept that decision.
Right. What about you?
Yeah. No, I think same as Hannah. I wasn't
Were you
expecting.
surprised when we got the result that people have voted in favour of leaving rather than staying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually not expecting it at all. So I actually didn't even turn on the news in the morning because I thought it would be fine, and then I realised that we left.
And I was watching it. I was watching it when the announcement. I was watching it with my son actually.
Right.
When the announcement was, I think it was about 5:10 in the morning or something, and my son just looked at me and said, "That's it. I'm going to bed."
Okay. What was his reaction? How old is your son? Sorry.
He is 18.
Right. So
What was his reaction?
Voter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was also. We were all surprised because that's not what was predicted.
Yeah.
And I suppose even though we know polls, and we certainly know polls are not reliable now, you have that in your head, and so then when something happens that's different, you think, wow. I mean, that's just a human reaction, I think.
I mean, I met lots of young people, and they were surprised, shocked, and then angry. Their reaction was anger. I mean, I've met lots of college people, and they said, no. I mean, this is their first reaction. Obviously, you can't do much about it.
Yeah. I think it's an anxiety about what it means and what's going to happen now, which none of us know.
Yeah.
So I understand that reaction too.
Yeah.
But in terms of a decision being made, it's been made, and that's it. And we have to move forward and make it work, which I believe we will under Theresa May, of course.
So you think Theresa May will be able to
Yes.
negotiate the right deal?
I think she will negotiate the best deal for the UK. I have total confidence in that, which is why I'm standing with her as a candidate.
Right.
So yes.
What do you think, Mira?
Yeah, absolutely. I think out of the two possible choices of becoming Prime Minister, Theresa May is the only one that will be able to negotiate a deal for us.
Somebody, I don't know who it was, but said that she is a very strong person when it comes to the dealing or negotiating. But there is something that she gets agitated, is that right? I mean, when you get agitated when dealing or angry, if you like. I think I saw him in an interview and she got slightly angry and then she realized that she's on the camera. I mean, you are the best people to know. Do you think that is a good thing to do?
Well, I don't know her personally, and I've only ever seen her as a strong woman.
Right.
So I don't see that side of her.
Right. What do you think, Mira?
I think because of my position at Conservative Friends of India, I've had the privilege of seeing her quite a lot over the past couple of weeks. And the general election is a stressful time for anybody, but she's just been so calm and focused throughout all of it, and I think that really shows what kind of leader she would be, negotiating us out of Brexit.
So you think it's
I have full
okay.
confidence in her.
Do you see any other person at all? I mean, what do you think of Jeremy Corbyn?
I don't think he'd be a strong and stable leader as Theresa May would.
He's not.
No, when half of his own party don't want him to be their leader, I think that says a lot, and they know him better than we do. So I think that's one thing.
I mean, God forbid, what happens when, we did the polling for Brexit? We never expected what to happen. Same thing happened in USA. Nobody thought Trump will be elected, and we were shocked. What happens if the same thing happens in coming elections?
Well, that's democracy.
Yeah.
We live in a democratic system.
But do you think we'll have a leader who is capable enough to...
My personal view is no. That's why I'm not a Labour supporter.
Right.
I think in this age of shock elections, it's actually quite scary to think what could happen next Friday when we wake up. So I would, anybody that's even considering voting Conservative, I would recommend not taking that chance.
Okay.
Because I think if we ended up waking up on Friday morning with Jeremy Corbyn as our Prime Minister, it won't be good for anybody in this country.
Right. Okay. Now coming back to you and your area, why do you think that last time you narrowly lost? Didn't you?
Yeah.
I wish you did. What makes you think that this time you will succeed? What are the policies? What you're offering to people? I mean, I always believed that when you're campaigning, you got to be a really, really good salesperson.
Yes,
I always
yes.
believe you have to be convincing, and you have to have backup from your party. You have to have the backup. You have to back yourself up as well. So whatever you're telling to people, because many times people will only vote to a certain person because they trust in that person. They may not agree totally with the party entirely and the values and whatever is offered by the party or whatever is the background and the history, but they may like the candidate so much that they may think that, okay, you know what, maybe the party is not doing what I thought they will do, but this person is the right representative for me in the parliament. So what is the package?
Yes, that's an extremely important point, because I think for people to have faith in you, they need to trust you, and therefore they need to know you, and they need to know that you know what you're doing as well. So I think the first thing is that I have met a lot of people over the last 5 years in Harrow West. I've knocked on doors for 5 years in Harrow West. I've met the communities, I've understood their aspirations but also their concerns. And so if I understand that, I can be a true voice for them. I can speak up, and I intend to do that. And I intend to be around, not just around at election time, but around all the time, and to be a voice for them in Westminster. I think the other thing that I can offer is experience. I have been, as we've discussed before, in politics locally for a very long time. So I have dealt with residents' concerns for a very long time. I also I have a legal background. I have worked as a school governor. I've worked with charities. I was on the board of a new free school. So, and these are issues that do come up, and I know I have the experience to offer that as well. I also have worked with the communities and been involved and been invited into the communities themselves. So I've built up a really important relationship, which I hope to nurture and grow. And one of the lovely things when this election was called was how many people from Harrow West phoned me and said, you are going to stand. And that's really quite something.
Right.
So I think that's what I can offer, certainly the experience.
So in terms of, whatever you said you have, I think that same thing can be claimed by your opponent, Gareth Thomas. There has to be some age, something which people are missing, people are looking for. You have something which people are really want to see that maybe this could happen.
Well, I obviously one of the differences between Gareth and I is that I'm a Conservative and he's from the Labour Party. Right. So my values and aspirations are very similar to all of the communities that I meet in Harrow West. Okay. Particularly in terms of education, in terms of a business and hard-working ethos, in terms of family. I have a husband, 3 children. I can relate to all these people. And one of the things that does come up, when it comes up, if it isn't a Brexit conversation, is actually about the state of Harrow, the state of the streets. People are fed up. They're fed up with overdevelopment and the crowded roads, and they're fed up with the litter. And the fly tipping. Harrow needs a change. It needs to have our high streets regenerated, our shops full, and a nice environment. Right. And Gareth Thomas has been the MP for 20 years, so it is time for a change if people are fed up over those issues. Right. And I can offer the experience to make that happen, and certainly the willingness to make it happen.
Right. If you're watching from Harrow West, West, I suppose, and if you would like to ask a question to your own candidate, this is the right time if you want to ask the question. Otherwise you can just sit back, relax and enjoy the program. We have got a lot more questions to ask, but now I'm going to Mira and ask you, what do you think, why do you think, Mira, that you will succeed in this election where the person you are fighting against is a champion, if you like? You're a newcomer.
Yeah, I'm a newcomer.
What are the points, if you like, on a piece of paper, if you put points, to qualify that, okay, these are the points, I think on the basis of these points, I will, or I have some chances. I wouldn't say you will lose or you will win, that's not for me to judge. But yourself, when you go and talk to people, to your voters, what is your strategy? What do you do? What are you doing to win the voters? Just tell us about your preparation, because lots of young people are watching this program. They might get some inspiration.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think what sets me apart from my opponents is that I am local in every sense of the word, and my story is that of the 30,000 people of Indian origin that are in my constituency. Right. My parents came from East Africa and settled in Leicester with nothing, and have grown and become prosperous like so many of the people that live in my constituency. So it's something that I can really relate to. Right. They have so many high streets in Leicester South where there are small businesses like my own father's. So I feel like I can relate to them and would really like to help them grow and prosper and employ new people, skill up new people. Right. And I know that in the past 7 years under a Conservative government, so many factories that were closed in the 1980s have reopened, and now that part of Leicester is now a really thriving garment industry. Yeah. It's happening again, and that change is happening.
It has been a garment industry for many years, and all of a sudden they started closing down. Is that
exactly?
Right?
And since 2010, you can see literally in Evington and Highfields, how it's grown again, and new businesses are opening every day, which is something that I believe that a Conservative government and Conservative MP can really deliver for people, as jobs and skills.
So all these developments took place under the Labour government?
No, since 2010, I would say, it has been a bulk of the growth in the economy in Leicester South, which is since the Conservative government.
Okay. And so why you?
Why me?
Yeah.
A, because I'm local, like I said. B, because I can understand the concerns of small businesses. C, because I've worked in the House of Commons before and understand how it works. D, because I'm young. And I don't believe that we have enough young people representing young people. I have a university in my constituency and really feel like I can be a champion for young people. And E, because I'm of Indian origin, and I don't believe we have enough Indian origin MPs that can really be pro-India in the House and pro-Indian people.
So what is your strategy? Do you go and knock on the doors?
Yes, we campaign, we leaflet, we meet small businesses, go up and down the high street.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really fun.
How are you received in general? I mean, do they welcome you? Or they say, nahi ladki hai, chokri hai, suta se.
I think people are broadly supportive and surprised actually that I'm standing. They think, rightly so, that I'm quite young. But I think people understand that it's time for a change in Leicester, and a Conservative government can provide that change, and that we should be giving young people a chance and not think that they're incapable.
Many a times in voters' mind, people do create some sort of illusion, and that is, are you going to waste your votes on a young person who has no chance against somebody who is, who has lots of experience and he is here and all that? Do you feel that can happen?
No, I think people are quite welcoming actually. Quite welcoming. I feel like being young shouldn't be a hindrance to people voting for a young person. I think that the perception and the perspective that I can bring to the House of Commons and to the constituency is different to somebody maybe who's 20 years older than me. And I think people recognise that.
Well, interesting. We will talk now more about the policies and what people want. That's very important. And your answer to that. But we'll do that after a short break, so we'll come back. Don't go away.
At Leica Mobile, we do things your way. Buy a new SIM with our UK Plan Ultra online and enjoy 15 gigabytes of ultra-fast 4G data and unlimited UK minutes and texts. All of this for the low price of just £12 for 30 days. This 50% off contract-free offer is available on our 4G LTE UK network. Don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity. Visit leicamobile.co.uk today. Terms and conditions apply. Your data, your way. Leica Mobile.
किस्मत कब क्या करेगी किसको पता है। खुशी गम शुभ अशुभ दुख सुख आपकी किस्मत का हाल किस्मत कर्मा के साथ आपके अपने चैनल MATV पर।
Direct Line Home Plus insurance means if your electrical goods are lost, stolen or damaged beyond repair, you have the choice of getting the cash or a brand new replacement delivered to your door. And right now there's 30% off. It's good to deal direct, so take the Direct Line.
Pure Heaven. Non-alcoholic celebration drinks. All the fun without the alcohol. Pure Heaven. Make every moment a sparkling moment.
Now available at selected Tesco stores and Amazon.
स्कूल जाना तो एक सपना था, रोज देखता उस खाने वाली गाड़ी को, सबको बढ़िया खाना, खुशी होती थी देखकर। फिर वो दिन आया जब मैं भी गया स्कूल। लगा कि सपने देखने की ताकत मिल गई हो। अरे पेट भरा हो तो पूरा ध्यान पढ़ाई में रहेगा ना। प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि वो खाने वाली गाड़ी हमेशा स्कूल आती रहे। थैंक यू अक्षय पात्र।
आइए हाथ बटाइए ताकि भारत में 16 लाख से भी ज्यादा बच्चों को स्कूल में पौष्टिक खाना मिलता रहे।
हेस्टन हाइड वेस्ट लंदन के सबसे शानदार होटल्स में से एक, with 303 air-conditioned rooms and suites, one of the largest banquet spaces in London, meeting room for up to 1200 people, conferences, musical function, weddings या कोई भी गैदरिंग। मनपसंद भोजन, शानदार आयोजन और बेहतरीन वेन्यू, 400 गाड़ियों की पार्किंग के साथ। Heston Hyde. For bookings, call 0208 572 1818.
Welcome back to Rajneeti on MATV. We're talking about what are the strategies and why and how are they approaching to the voters, to Meera and Anna. Now there's something very important, and this is from the voters' point of view, that there are quite a few things which are actually surfacing or coming up again and again. And one of them, the biggest problem with the young people, like you are a young person, so you got a son who is 18, about the college fees.
University fees.
University fees, yes. There's something which is really, really troubling, not just the students but the parents as well. What do you think about it?
Okay, I have 2 children at university at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel that for us to have world-class universities, we need to pay for it. They need to be paid for, otherwise we will not be able to compete on a global academic stage.
Right.
Our position on university fees is that once you get a job and you're earning over 21,000, they become repayable.
Right.
But if you don't earn that amount, they are, and you reach the age of 30, then they're not repayable then.
Right.
The current fees are, the monthly instalments are less than they were under the Labour government, that students do have to pay when it has to be repaid. But I think my fundamental point, and we are in this position, as I say, with 2 children paying them, is that it has to be funded and we have to be competitive.
What percentage has gone up since the 2015?
What percentage of what?
Oh, the fee is grown up. The fee has gone up. So
I don't know what it is in percentage terms. I know it's around 9,000. Yeah.
9,000.
Now, what you're saying is that 21,000. If one earns 21,000 and on top, then that student or the graduate has to pay.
If they're earning, yes, that's when it becomes repayable. So once the salary is over that
it's
now.
a very small percentage of your salary.
Yeah.
Something, whatever. Yeah. Now, what do you think about it? I mean, when you graduated, how much did you pay?
Yeah, I graduated in 2011, so I paid about £3,000 a year.
3,000, and now the fee is almost 9,000 or 11,000?
Yeah, so it's £6,000 more. And I've got 2 sisters, one who's just graduated, one who's going into university in September.
Yeah.
But I think both of them agree that if you want to invest in your future, it should be an investment from yourself, because a graduate on average earns £200,000 more than somebody that didn't go to university.
Right.
And that individual should be responsible for paying that small sum for going to university to make that investment.
Just like when you're in business, you pay corporation tax. That's the relevant payment you make for that. So to be a student, you pay towards your education.
Right. But my question is, it relates to another problem. That if somebody has to live in London, for example, you are in Leicester, but the cost of living is a lot less than England, in London. But when a student or a graduate, who graduates from university and goes and finds a job in London, for them to survive, even in a shared accommodation, even if they got a job in central London, but if you're staying away, say for example, half an hour away, it is still very difficult for them. So they have to earn a decent salary. anything around 24, 25K. And that is the bare minimum they have to earn if they want to survive. So that means they will have to start paying immediately, because if they earn less than 21,000,
Yes.
yeah, they cannot survive. Yeah. So my question is it really clever for our future generation to get out of the university with a huge amount of loan on their head? It's overhead, or it's a loan with most of the students when they come out fresh from the universities. It will be bothering whether they're paying it or not, or later on in their life they change, they decide, you know what, I'm not going to pay. That's a separate matter. But as a fresh student, when they come out of the university, do you think this is a very clever idea for our young generation or our next generation who's going to take care of most of the things in this country to have a huge debt on their heads?
I think it's what Hannah said earlier. Like when I graduated and moved to London, London salaries are higher than Leicester salaries anyway. But I think I was only paying like £47 a month back into my student loan, which if you think about it, for the opportunity that my degree has given me isn't a huge amount to pay back every month. I mean, people spend that on a gym membership or eating out one day.
My point is, when you're paying £3,000, which is not too far
no,
away,
but it's still the same. It's still the same amount that you pay back per month.
Precisely, but what my point is that your education or your qualifications are not anything less than the qualification of a person who graduates from today. So the money, if you look at the qualification or your achievements and everything else as a person, your development of your personality is not too far away. But if you look at the fees, it is 200, 300 times more.
I think
so
in a time
don't you think that that's not the right maths?
I think in a time when less than 10% of the population was going to university, it was fine to have free tuition fees. Now we have around 45% of the population going to university.
And an obligation on the universities to contribute to those fees of those pupils who cannot afford to go. There is an obligation.
But then if we're saying that
it makes the universities sustainable. We want these universities to be sustainable, to welcome more students into them, to compete on a global stage, to welcome foreign students, to contribute into the working life moving forward. And it costs money.
Yeah. Well, what Meera said is a very interesting point, that 10 years ago, the percentage of students after passing their initial A-levels or whatever, to go and study in university has grown by 35%.
Yeah, well, it's been longer than 10 years.
35, 40%. But then aren't we then, by increasing or hiking the fees, is denying those people to go forward? Because
that's not showing out in the figures. The fact is there are more and more A-level students going into university. So if that was the case, we would see the numbers go down, but it simply isn't.
And also the government has invested so much into apprenticeships in the past two years. So that there is an alternative to university where there wasn't before. So
and a real credible opportunity. Apprenticeships are really creating people's careers who may not be academic. I have one son who may not go to university, but apprenticeship would be perfect for him. And I really welcome that there is that option.
I mean, having said that, that's fantastic. But we are talking here about the people, the student who want to go for higher education. And by increasing the fee to such level, aren't we discouraging them somewhere? Because one who wants to study, for example, you decided you want to go ahead and study, so you really want to do it, and then you say, you know what, I want to do it, doesn't matter how much it's costing. Because it's not you alone paying, the whole entire class or entire student group of universities paying the same fee. But that doesn't mean that it's not hurting me. I mean, I'm a parent, I have got 2 children who are, actually one is knocking the door on the university, and he's already worried that my sister got away with something reasonable, but hey, I'm going to go to university, when I come out, I have this big, what are you going to tell them?
I think it all boils down to the fact that universities always cost this much money. It's just that the government had money to subsidise people's educations before. And because of so much spending by Labour over the Blair government, we now don't have the money to pay for people's educations, to subsidise them to that level. So I think it's just because of uncontrolled spending, and now ordinary people are having to take the hit for it.
I think that's absolutely right. I also think that if we want to continue having this level of university education, it does have to be funded. And I think it's appropriate that it's funded by the people who will benefit from it and will benefit from it moving forward.
Could we have another angle for to making life easy for? I mean, we encourage lots of foreign students who come here, and it has a big immigration problem related to it as well. Is there a possibility that you have two different, sets of fees? One for the students who are actually born and brought up
I think
here,
foreign students do pay more, actually. I think it's 20,000. It's certainly a lot more than British students pay.
Right.
So, I don't know the current levels of fees, but I understand.
That cannot compensate for the English, the British students or the British born
Well,
students.
as I've said before, we're not seeing a decline in numbers.
Right.
We're seeing an increase in numbers of students who are going. So, whilst I hear what you're saying, it isn't shown on the figures.
Right. But then, in 10 years' time, you'll have probably hundreds of thousands of students with big dates on their head. Is that a very good picture? Is it a healthy picture? I'm not too sure.
I think with this current repayback system, like I've said before, it's not very burdensome for people to pay back small amounts, like they would be.
So you think they will manage somehow?
Yeah, I think it's very manageable, and I think it's a good investment to go to university. It's a good investment into your own future, and if you feel like you want to make that investment, then sure.
It isn't for everyone, but it's a personal choice.
Right.
No one's.
Okay. So students have to decide whether they want to carry on, and do they want to have a big chunk of loan on their heads when they graduate, when they step into the real world.
Or whether they believe it's valuable enough.
That's a choice, right? If I want to buy a house, then I have to get a mortgage, and that's an individual choice.
Yeah. Another point is policing. I mean, since what has happened in the last 1.5 months, first the attack on Parliament House, and then is it Parliament House?
Parliament, yeah.
Yeah, and the second, the Manchester one. This has got the policing issue and the policing budget cuts and everything else. What do you want to say about that?
Well, go on, Hannah.
Okay, so Theresa May, when she was at the Home Office, obviously is very experienced in terms of policing and security. That was her role. So firstly, I'd say that to have a Prime Minister with that background and that experience is extremely important, particularly in light of what we're facing and obviously have faced recently in the last few months. I think that's the first point that I would make. In terms of policing numbers and financing for the police, obviously in London, policing comes under the Mayor of London, under Sadiq Khan's remit. But what I would say is that the cuts that have been made affect backroom staff, but not policemen on the streets. And people in Harrow West, the people that I've spoken to, seeing policemen on the streets is the most important thing to these people. So that's certainly the perception being carried forward.
Right. I mean, we're talking here about national security, not just the Bobby on the beach.
Sure, okay.
I mean, there are cuts, and then there was an increase, but it was like 50% cut and then 30% increase. So is it going to improve in coming time? Because we definitely need the staff who is not actually visible, but those who are processing the data as numbers and collecting the information. They are also important.
In terms of national security, well, if we have Jeremy Corbyn, he wants to get rid of MI5 and MI6. Right. So that's a real concern. I think that Theresa May and her stance on protecting our nuclear weapon, making sure we have a nuclear defence, is, to me, we've got to be able to defend ourselves. Yeah. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
It's fundamental.
It is indeed. Yeah, we
I also think in terms of security nationally, and I'm no expert on this, but working with other organisations as we have done, international organisations on security, is also something that she certainly championed as Home Secretary and will continue to do so. And that's how we tackle and get the knowledge that we need to defeat terrorism as far as we can.
So you think it's moving in the right direction with this national security?
I think we have to move in that direction. I think it's obviously a moving feast. It's extremely unpredictable, but we have to make sure we have eyes and ears everywhere.
Right.
And we have to have a Prime Minister who understands how we do that, where we have to do it, etc.
Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Hannah. I mean, the anti-terror policing budget has never been cut, has always been protected. And also we're the only party that's committed to spending 2% of our GDP on a defence budget. Right. So that's something that's obviously really important in light of what happened last week and last month.
Finally, one last question. There is a great housing demand and we are not able to supply houses or flats or whatever. What's the policy? What's the plan?
Okay.
So, because there's going to become a huge problem in coming years. So what's the plan?
So housing supply it's a very difficult question. I spend my professional life examining this. There is no simple and easy answer. One thing that we do have to look at is the types of housing that people actually want, which has changed over the years. Yeah. Do they want to own their house? Do they want to rent? And we are seeing a rise in the rental market as people want to have mobility in their jobs. They want to be able to travel and come back, so they don't necessarily want to own a home. So we have to open our eyes and see the different kinds of ownership models. We have to look into the finance and make sure that's right. We do have to build as well, and we have to be innovative and think out the box when we're looking at building.
So take as it comes, take the decision according to
I think we have to look at areas and say, what is the need in this area? How can we provide it? It doesn't necessarily mean we will be able to provide it in an area, but how do you serve area to area? So you have to have a big picture thinking when you're talking about the provision of housing, because what one person wants is not the same as what another person wants. And there is only a certain amount of land that you can use. So you have to really, you have to think sort of laterally in that way.
Right. Hannah David and Meera Sonecha. It was absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for being on the show. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
For the Friday. और इसी के साथ में अब हमारा आज का प्रोग्राम समाप्त होता है. नेक्स्ट वीक बुधवार को फिर मिलेंगे 7 से 8 तक. तब तक के लिए राम भट्ट को दीजिएगा आज्ञा.
बहनों और भाइयों, बड़े ही कम शब्दों में आपको सुनाना चाहता हूँ उस साल का लोकप्रिय गीत ये। सलाम ले जाता हुआ उड़न खटोला और बीन बजाती हुई नागिन।
Shake your body, girl. बदल गया।
रखो ना बेबी कोई भी शंका, अपने प्यार का बजा दो डंका, तेरे मेरे बीच में जो कोई भी आया उसकी लगा दो लंका। छोड़ छाड़ के दुनियादारी बस तेरे पीछे पड़ गया मैं, सपनों में तो ऑलरेडी घोड़ी वोड़ी चढ़ गया मैं। मुझको बेबी लक्की कर, बात हमारी पक्की कर, इतना क्या सोचे मुझे हाँ बोल के काम तो नक्की कर।
मुझे जरूरत मेरे जैसे यार की, मुझे जरूरत मेरे जैसे यार की।
तुझे जरूरत मेरे जैसे यार की, मुझे जरूरत मेरे जैसे यार की।
चले जो उसको और चलाओ, नाचो छमा छम छम।
ऊपर चढ़े या नीचे उतरे?
दम दम उड़ती है दुआ, 100 पंख लगा तेरे नाम के। दम दम उड़ती है दुआ, 100 पंख लगा तेरे नाम के। मेरा दिल फकीरा हो गया, चल दिया वो तेरे धाम पे। दम दम उड़ती है दुआ, 100 पंख लगा तेरे नाम के। दम 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 आ, दम 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 आ, दम 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 आ, दम दम है दुआ। कहानियां तेरी मेरे सैया, बातें